Hi everyone, attorney Shana Karpeles and owner and head tutor at CA Bar Style. I hope you are all doing well in this new year. I wanted to talk today about the possibility of the California bar exam becoming remote only. We just got word from the California State Bar that there is a high probability that the July 2024 and all future California bar exams will be remote only. Now, we dealt with this during COVID, where we had a first ever California bar remote exam in October 2020. We had to pivot a lot. We still got our applicants ready and maintained our great passage rate. However, there were definitely pros and cons in tutoring and coaching and mentoring applicants for a remote only exam. Now, I want to caveat this by saying that if the exam does go remote only, I can only assume that they will still offer in-person accommodations for those that need it. Let's talk about the pros and cons. So some of the pros included taking the test in the comfort of your own home, in the privacy of your own home, not having to travel and stay at a hotel and be around other stressed test takers. So a lot of applicants did enjoy that. They felt like it took a lot of stress off, not having to travel or get to the exam on time, and they really did enjoy the format of the test that way. But in my opinion, the cons definitely outweighed a lot of the pros. So let's look at those as well. First and foremost, you don't get a printed exam. So for the written portion, the essays and the performance test, you have to learn how to issue spot on the computer. Now you do get scratch paper, but issue spotting on the computer is definitely a very important part of the training. In addition, the performance test portion was very challenging for a lot of applicants online, especially those that are not as tech savvy. If you know the format of the performance test, there is a task memorandum at the beginning, followed by a file, and then the library. It is really important and beneficial for applicants to be able to go back and forth within the gamut of the printed format of the performance test. So having an online only version did definitely wreak havoc for some applicants, and the training had to be modified and refined, and especially that timing aspect of only 90 minutes was really hard for a lot of applicants. So the training, and I want to discuss that for a moment, is really significantly different for an in-person versus a remote test. And I had to learn a lot and pivot a lot with my students and guide them during that time. So of course we will be ready for a remote only format. But I will say that starting early on your prep, if you can, is going to be crucial, especially if you are not used to taking tests in a remote fashion. Now, another con is that you do get scratch paper, but the multiple choice also are not printed. So if you've been utilizing programs and sources of questions like Adaptabar, then it really can benefit you in your taking of the exam in an online only format. But for those of you that are used to doing paper only questions, it's going to definitely have to switch it up if the exam does in fact become remote only. Now I want to back it up to a pro that just popped into my mind, and that is that you'll be able to take the test from anywhere. So that definitely is a huge benefit. I have a lot of foreign and international applicants that have to travel, and applicants all over the country that have to come here, and some travel quite a long way and take connecting flights to take this exam. So that won't have to happen anymore. You'll be able to take the exam from any country or city across the globe. And that definitely is super cool. So there definitely are pros and cons of, I'm just checking my notes to make sure I covered everything, of taking a remote exam. But whatever it is, you have to be ready for it. And I cannot stress enough that the training is fundamentally different for the most part in both formats. So if you are thinking about taking the bar in the latter half of 2024, July 24, or even February 2025 or July 2025, I would reach out to me so we can get you started on a light schedule. It's called early bar preparation. And what I'm doing with my current July 2024 applicants, we'll be starting to do this soon, will be starting to get trained on the possibility of a remote exam. So the state bar likes to take their time. We probably will not know until March or maybe even April if the July exam will be remote only, but we have to be ready for any format. We don't waste any time over here. And I'd love to hear your thoughts. Do you prefer an in-person or a remote exam? I hope that gives you some clarity. Feel free to reach out like always. Email me directly at cabarstyle@yahoo.com. That's cabarstyle@yahoo.com. Be well, everybody, and happy New Year.